Hi, welcome to my channel, Our Blissful Chaos. My name is Omega, and today I'm excited to share with you our daily routine and how we get that done. So the secret to how I squeeze everything into our day is I use loop schedules. When I first started homeschooling, I had a whole bell schedule set up just like in public school. You do what you know, and that didn't work. And next, I had tried assigning a subject to a day, but our issue with that became we would have a day where we were always busy. Let's say Monday, we were always busy and we didn't do our subject for that day. For instance, I had assigned history to Mondays, and then Mondays were always busy and we didn't do history for like a month, which was fine by my kids. They totally didn't care. Another one of our routines was a free-for-all. We just kind of went with what we wanted to do that day. But I'm sure, as you know, as a homeschool parent, you get that feeling of, am I covering enough? Are we doing enough? Are my kids learning what they're supposed to be learning? Because it really doesn't feel like it. So our problem was that we were always too rigid in our routine, or we were always too unstructured. So I wanted to find a way where I could bring in a little bit of structure without killing our easy, relaxed homeschooling style. So, enter loop scheduling. The first thing I did was I sat down with my kids and I asked them what they wanted to learn, the things they were interested, and then I added in all the things that I wanted to teach them, like science, history, writing, spelling, the whole shebang. And what I did is I took their list and I took my list and I divided them up into two separate lists. What I did then was I took all those things that I wanted done daily, like my non-negotiables. I wanted math done every day. I wanted our read aloud to happen every day. And I created what I call our core loop. So after I set up my core loop, everything else from that list, I took and I created our second loop. And this is where I have all the topics that I want to rotate through. I didn't know it at the time, but that's basically loop scheduling. You have a set of subjects that you want to rotate throughout your week. So after setting up our core loop and our second loop, I decided I wanted our morning to be focused on core and our afternoon to be focused on our second loop. So to start off, we only school for 4 days. Friday I use as our catch-up day, our fun day. It was our park day for many years, so it never has run like a regular structured school day. It was easier for us to just school 4 days a week. So I've done this 2 different ways. When my kids were younger, we went through these topics throughout the week. Now that they're older, we are just hitting one topic for the entire week. So there's a lot of ways to set this up. Some people just, they have it on their phone, they have it in their tablet, they have, a list that they just look at and rotate through. I wanted something a little more visual that I could have hanging up on the wall so I could quickly just glance at it and know what we were doing for the day. The way I did mine was I got a magnet board from IKEA and I created cards with the different loops on them. So this is my core loop. These are my non-negotiables that I want done every single day. Do they always get done every single day? I'd be lying to you if I told you they did. But for the most part, math, our read aloud, and our independent reading always get done. Those are like my real non-negotiables. Within my core loop, I have my second loop. And this is where I have the topics that I want to rotate through. I have history, science, writing, cleaning, and fun. In the afternoon, I spend 1 hour working on one of the topics for my second loop. So when I did all these topics throughout the week, it was hard to squeeze things in that 1 hour. Like our lesson, a project, an experiment, or covering handwriting and covering grammar. So what I did was I gave my loops their own loop. Now I'm going to run you through a week of what looping looks like. Now my Hearthstone magnet is going to tell me what card we're doing. So when I come downstairs on Monday morning, I see that we're in writing. The inner magnet tells me that we're on spelling and copy. We're on spelling, copy, and dictation. The mini magnet says we're on copy dictation. So you might be thinking, well, which one do we do? So these were the cards I used when my kids were little, so I would let them choose. 2 of my 4 were incapable of doing dictation, so obviously they did copy work. So at the end of the day, the inside magnet rotates up to the next section. The mini magnet moves up to spelling. The Hearthstone magnet moves down to our cleaning loop. I come downstairs Tuesday morning, I see our second loop is going to be cleaning, and we are going to be sweeping and vacuuming. At the end of the day, the inside magnet rotates down to the next section. Hearthstone magnet moves down to our fun loop. Wednesday morning comes, we come downstairs, we see, hey, it's our fun day. We're going to be playing board games. At the end of the day, our inner magnet rotates down to the next section. Hearthstone magnet goes all the way back up to our history science card. Thursday morning, we come downstairs, we see that we are doing history. The little mini magnet tells me that we're doing geography. At the end of the day, our Hearthstone magnet is going to stay put. Our inside magnet is going to slide down into science. Our mini magnet is going to rotate over to our lesson. So Friday comes and Hearthstone magnet says we're on science, but Friday is our makeup day, so we skip it. We focus on anything else that we didn't finish well during that week. We do something fun. Go to the park, go to the pool. The magnets stay where they are. They don't move. The following Monday is when we do science, and then the whole rotation starts again. So you might be thinking, that sounds a lot like you're assigning a subject to a day. But the beauty of loop scheduling is you don't move on from the subject until you've actually completed it. So let's say on Monday we come downstairs and we see we're on science and we're going to be doing our lesson. Then I look at our calendar and I see that the kids have dentist appointments. So loop 2 gets thrown out the window and we go to the dentist appointment. The magnets stay put. Because we did not do science, that just means we save it for the next day. So on Tuesday morning, we are still on science. We don't move on from whatever loop's telling us we're on until we actually complete the subject. So that's looping these subjects throughout the week. The reason I switched from hitting these topics throughout the week to just doing once a week was because as my kids got older, their comprehension increased, we would get deeper into discussions, and it just wasn't enough time to really devote to the subject and really get everything that we want to get out of it. When they were young, I would just read the lesson and we would move on pretty quick. There wasn't a whole lot of, back and forth, there wasn't a whole lot of discussion. And honestly, if I spent a whole week in one subject, they would be bored to death. They would have probably comprehended it that first day, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they wouldn't have learned a thing. It would have gone in one ear and out the other. So by rotating and keeping things fresh throughout the week when they were young really helped to not beat the subject to death, right? Now that I've covered the first way I did it, I'm going to show you the current way I do it. So let's have a look at my loops now. So these are my current cards. As you can see, they're a lot more streamlined than my old set. There's some inner magnets are missing, all the mini magnets are gone, and that is because I have a whole week to cover a subject. So I don't need the inner magnets for most of these. I don't need the mini magnets to help me keep track of what we're doing. The principle is the same. The only difference is instead of moving my magnets at the end of the day, I'm now moving them at the end of the week. I'm going to run you through how we're currently using it and what it looks like. So week 1, I look at my loops. Our Hearthstone magnet tells me that we are on a history science card. The inner magnet is on history. So at the end of that week, not day. I take the inside magnet and I move it down to science. Hearthstone magnet's gonna stay there. Week 2, on Monday, I look at the loops and I see we're on science. We spend the whole week, Monday through Thursday, working on science. At the end of that week, the Hearthstone magnet moves down to writing. The inner magnet moves back up to history. Week 3, on Monday, I see we're doing writing. Now, with this one, because we have 4 days, we usually hit all these aspects throughout the week. There are some weeks where I just let my kids pick a topic, like if they're in the flow and they're writing their story, they're working on their Brave Writer project, they're, knocking out arrows or boomerangs, or they're really feeling the free write, then I'll just let them free write for the whole week. Sidebar. If you don't know what Brave Writer is, don't worry. I have a video coming that explains what it is and how we use it. Back to our loops. So at the end of week 2 on Thursday, I take my Hearthstone magnet and it moves down to our cleaning loop. Real quick, I want to explain the inner loop that's inside the cleaning loop. Now this loop right here is just for my kids. We have a rotation of weekly chores and it's just for them to help them keep track of what chore they're on that week. Now our cleaning loop still has an inner magnet, mainly because there is no way we can clean the whole house in 1 week. If you were to look around my house right now, you would know we're not that devoted to our cleaning loop, and we really do need the whole week to just clean 1 floor. So at the end of the week, we finish cleaning. The inner magnet rotates down to the next section. Hearthstone magnet moves down to our fun loop. Now, do we always take a week of fun? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I don't have an inner magnet for this one either because, to be honest, I love having fun with my kids. So I try and make a point of squeezing it in while we're in our other loops. The reason I keep it up on my loop board is because there are some times when we actually do need a week of fun. And having it there on the board, in a sense, gives me permission to be like, all right, we're on our fun week, it's there, we gotta do it. So at the end of that week, Hearthstone magnet moves all the way back up to history science. You might be noticing this card right here on my loops. It is only for my oldest. He's in high school and his schedule is a little different than ours. Obviously, he has more topics and interests that he is focusing on. So part of his morning time is working through this loop, and he rotates through these subjects throughout the week. That is our loop system. So you might be thinking, that is crazy. There's too many moving parts. You got the mini magnet, you got the main magnet, you got the inner magnet and the rotating. I can't even wrap my head around it. It's too much. That's totally fine. You do what works for your family. You sit down with your kids, you figure out what they want to learn, you figure out what you want to teach them, and you create your own loops. If you need help with that, hit me up in the comments and I will totally help you set up your loops. It can be as simple as you want it. It can be as complex as you want it. It really depends on what you want to cover and how you want to do it. Well, that's it for today. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.